Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today. And if you're wondering why Joe and I look like we're guarding the president, it's because we're part of the DART team, the Digital Adoption Response Team, and we're here to fight digital friction. And you can learn more about that at our booth over here. So before we start, I wanted to do a quick show of hands. How many of you here today can remember all of the AI tools that your company deployed this year? One? Oh, that's a brave hand over there. Perfect. So that's exactly what we were expecting, right? And the reason you can't name all of the AI applications in your workplace is because E, you're an introvert and you don't want to participate in polls like this, or B, you don't know. And it's hard to know because the enterprise today has 4 generations of technology, right? On-prem, green screen, command line, kind of desktop applications. We migrated to the cloud. We now have all this AI in conversational interfaces. It's just hard to track all of that. And a lot of that happened in the last kind of 18 months, right? So my name is Ophir Bloch, and I lead WalkMe's corporate marketing team. With me, I have my friend Joy Poima here, who's a senior sales engineer. And today we're going to talk about exactly that. We're going to talk about managing your tech stack, understanding what you have, getting technology to work with people and for people and not the other way around. I've been with WalkMe for the past 8 years, working with Gartner on creating this digital adoption category space, which is a recognized category by Gartner now. We have some of our competitors in the audience here, so that's always great. So it's an established category, and we're happy about that. And I want to double click on the problem that I just mentioned, right? So this is information from our annual State of Digital Adoption report. We analyze data from 1.5 million users, employees worldwide. It's an annual survey that we do. And we found out that the average enterprise has 625 applications, which is more than what their applications like Okta showed, more than what their management thought that they have. It's actually 16 times more than what the management thought that they have. And as I mentioned, 25% of this tech stack is already AI-powered applications, which is a lie, right? Every application has AI capabilities, whether it's native or kind of embedded or built upon. And that's why it feels impossible to measure impact, right? Because according to Gartner, if you look at the stat, we were hoping that AI is going to help us become more productive and more efficient at work. But actually, the numbers are kind of different. There's a 9 to 12% decline in productivity in the last 2 years, which is kind of counterintuitive to what you would think with all this AI, right? And the reason we believe is kind of this 3-way failure. Technology, people, and processes that basically all break at once, right? The tools that we have, all of these co-pilots and agentic AI that we invested in, they don't talk to each other. Most of them are verticalized. Most of them work within one ecosystem. If it's Microsoft Copilot or any other agent or Copilot that you think about, they mainly focus on a single ecosystem, Salesforce, Agentforce, right? And on top of that, you have different generations in the workplace. You have people with different levels of digital dexterity, the resistance to change, technical background, right? And, it doesn't really help that none of these applications have a unified user interface or a user experience to them. There's no standard. Every vendor creates their own AI and their own conversational interface and, slap it on top of their applications and expect us to know how to use it, when to use it, and expects the AI to understand our business context. It just doesn't work like that. People don't know when to use what. When do I go to Microsoft Copilot? When do I go to Office, to Salesforce? I don't want to pick any vendors, but you get the idea, right? When do I know what to use, where it exists, and what does it know about me? So that's exactly where we think it's an orchestration problem, right? And if we zoom in on that human component that I talked about, the human aspect of this, again, from our survey, you'll see that only 28% of employees said that they were well-trained or trained enough on these AI investments that we've introduced into the workplace in the past, 12, 18, 24 months. And how could they feel that they were trained enough when you have 5 co-pilots, 10 agents, dozens of other AI capabilities across every other application on the desktop, on the cloud, on your mobile devices? It's just impossible. And this fragmentation that I just talked about is exactly what Gartner addressed in their latest market guide for digital adoption platforms. They're signaling a new role for this category, for the digital adoption space itself. They're talking about how dApp providers are becoming this orchestration layer and can help organizations with this problem, bringing the technology together, bringing the people together, and making sure that these agents and AI workflows actually serve the people and not the other way around. And on top of that, it's important to also think about delivering business metrics and business impact, right? So as I introduced ourselves earlier, we're from WalkMe. WalkMe pioneered and created this space over a decade ago. We have clients all over the world, vendor agnostic, so really from every industry. And this is exactly what WalkMe was purposely built for, right? To help bridge that gap between technology and people and the humans in your workplace. And it doesn't matter if it's Gen AI or the metaverse or the next wave of innovation or disruption. There's always going to be some sort of change, and the only constant is your workforce, so the people that work for your organizations. And obviously, the vendors aren't thinking about that. As you can see, our customers span different industries that I mentioned, and we're the largest vendor in this space. And we've seen some of the most complex transformation programs and initiatives. We work with some of the largest organizations in the world, and we've seen the challenges and their ambitions and aspirations, and we helped a lot of them solve this orchestration problem that I'm talking about. Because those customers actually went with us turn by turn throughout all these major disruptions, right? So if it's that SaaS explosion and migration to the cloud, we all remember COVID, right? No need to talk about that. Suddenly needing to work from everywhere, work remotely. Of course, what we're seeing now with generative AI, this is just another wave of disruption. Granted, it's the biggest and the most impactful that we'll probably see in our lifetime, but yet it's still a change brought on by technology. So as I mentioned, for over a decade, WalkMe helped these organizations adopt new tools and technologies to manage change that was brought on by technology. A couple of words about the platform for those of you who are not familiar with it. We basically sit on top of your tech stack. We're an overlay. And the platform basically has three pillars to it: data, action, and experience. And we help you with understanding your tech landscape. Joe's going to show you a demo how that looks like. We help you identify and pinpoint where are the friction points, what are the challenges, where are people really struggling. But we then also give you the tools to act on that, right? To change the processes, change the workflows, and create a better experience in your workflows. About a little over a year ago, WalkMe was acquired by SAP. So we're an SAP company. We continue to operate on our own. We're vendor agnostic, so we don't just work on SAP applications. We work on any application out there. And of course, our platform as well is powered by AI. So we have a robust AI engine that can understand user behavior, and then based on that, be kind of proactive and help you automate a lot of the workflows and create better experiences. So I talked a little bit about orchestration, so let's talk about the outcome. What are the benefits that you guys can expect from orchestration, from having better orchestration? The first one is driving adoption, whether it's your AI investments or Copilot investments or a new tool that you're introducing. That's the most important thing, making sure that people are actually adopting these new tools. Using it, going in and out of a Salesforce CRM, for example, doesn't mean that you've adopted it, right? There's a difference between using it and utilizing it, right? So managing any change when a new tool is introduced or a new technology capability. The second thing is optimizing and automating as much as you can what the AI agents are doing, or even if it's a process within one of those SaaS applications that I mentioned. So we're going to take a moment, and Joe is going to show you a little bit what that looks like in practice. But I want to talk a little bit about what Joe is going to walk you through in a second. So Joe's demo has three components to it. The first one is that visibility that I talked about, gaining insights into where the problems are. What are the friction points? Where are people really struggling? Because honestly, you can't really manage what you can't see. The second part is, how do you drive action? So there are many AI analytics tools out there. They give you the understanding of what the challenges are, but you can't really act on it. So WalkMe gives you a low-code, no-code ability to actually act on that. And then lastly, we're going to show you some of our AI capabilities and how we make AI available for everyone in the flow of work. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Joe for a demo. And if we can switch screens, please.
All right. Hey, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Joe from WalkMe. And we'll dive right into it. So as a fair mention, we're going to cover 3 main areas. Let's start with the visibility, because let's be honest, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And with WalkMe, we give you the visibility into your entire tech stack. So with WalkMe Discovery, what you're seeing right here, we give you that X-ray focus into what applications are being used. We can even tell you who's using them. And we give you a portfolio lens where you could take a financial analysis into where you could find some savings in your tech spend today. Inside of our Discovery product, we've also released a new Shadow AI tab. We'll be able to give you a list of all the AI that's being leveraged across the organization, whether you're aware of it or not. From here, not only will we inform you of what AI there is, but you could take action. So say there's some risky, unapproved AI, you can block access through here. Or maybe you want to promote other AIs, enforce the best practices and the solutions that they should use. With our Discovery actions, you're able to take action immediately. Now, once we know what applications are being used and even who's using it, we can dive into those applications and we can see how they're using it. So drilling in a little bit more into focus, we can look at a process wing to wing, platform to platform. In here, we'll tell you where the friction lies and where time is wasted. We even have a compare mode and paths for you to look more granular into each one of these steps so you can truly understand where that friction lies in the workflow. Now that we know who's using the apps and how they're using it, where the friction is, it's time to go build a solution. Now, I won't be able to show the WalkMe editor today, but we have a no-code editor solution which offers the ability for you to build once and deploy out to your entire employee base within minutes. With this solution, you now have the capability not only to know who or where the user is, but you can also know what their role or function is. You can know what they have or have not yet adopted. And with this, we're prescriptive, not reactive. We're going to provide that just-in-time training and guidance to the user where and when they need it most. Where we see the future of digital adoption is not with balloon after balloon guidance, but also incorporating automation and AI capabilities, which I'll show in a little bit. So as a user incorporates WalkMe into their daily life, they're not only guided through steps, but wherever we can reduce that friction and automate some of the behavior, we could standardize the information coming in. We can provide those business best practices. And once again, the business is building for the business. So you don't have to use the standard out-of-the-box cookie cutter information. You can build best practices in the way that you want to operate as a business yourself. Now, where we see the future going is with the help of AI. We want to incorporate AI contextually into the flow of work, where the user needs it, when they need it, even before they know that they need it. WalkMe is going to be that orchestration layer, as Fira mentioned, that's going to help the user through that experience. Now, we're going to jump over to ServiceNow, and we're proud to announce that WalkMe is now the delivery arm for Joule AI, an SAP product that can now be offered agnostically on SAP or non-SAP applications. So what would this look like? Well, for now, we're going to meet Will. Will's a supply chain manager. Will starts his day inside of ServiceNow, and he looks at cases that have come in overnight. Will sees that there's an urgent case that needs his immediate attention. When he clicks on it, before he has a moment to panic, WalkMe's action bar slides in with a recommendation. Will reviews the case and realizes that there's a quality issue in material. Will wants to know what that impact is to the organization, so he clicks on that recommended action, and WalkMe is going to orchestrate with Joule and find the impact analysis within the organization. What's the stock availability of this material? How many orders can be impacted from this delay? Will realizes he has a problem, but ultimately he wants to ask some more questions as to why the problem even exists. So he asks WalkMe X, what caused the failed inspection? WalkMe X then orchestrates with Joule and brings up a Joule chat in which Joule is able to find through SAP the information around what that failure was, and Joule recommends an alternative supplier. So now at this point, Will's going to look for that alternate supplier. Joule's going to connect to the SAP Business Network and find 3 recommended suppliers that can be alternative solutions to his problem, and it's going to recommend their overall recommendation. But Will remembers that this Entertech Solutions company had a conversation with him earlier in the year, and a lower price point was offered in an email that he's not seeing up here in this SAP Business Network. So Will's going to ask Joule, hey, can you check my email? And can you look for an Entertech email thread that offers a lower price point. Now Joule is going to orchestrate with Gemini in this instance and bring Will over into Gmail, leverage the Gemini capabilities to search through Will's inbox and find the context that there was in fact a lower solution or a lower price point offered, in which will then take that information and say, okay, Joule, go ahead and create a new RFP for me. And Joule will create that RFP, get it ready for Will, and all he has to do is review it and click confirm. So this is the vision for WalkMe and AI, where AI and automation are proactively driving productivity, eliminating friction, and empowering every employee in the flow of work to work smarter. Thank you. I'm going to pass it back over to Ophir.
Thanks, Joe. Crispy, I hope the recording was well. If not, I'll send you the video afterwards. Okay, so what Joe just showed you was that orchestration, the notion of the orchestration that I talked about, right? Solving a real business problem. Will, in Joe's example, had a quality issue. WalkMe identified that first, came in with that toolbar that Joe showed you, and then kind of connected it into ServiceNow. It leveraged Joule by SAP, the SAP Business Network. It passed it to Gemini and then pulled constructs from Gmail and auto-populated the information into an RFP. That was one workflow, 4 different applications, zero handoff from the user, and it automated as much as possible. So the outcomes of this are threefold, right? One, you identified the problem firsthand. You understood what the challenge might be using the analytics that Joe showed you. Then in terms of efficiency, compliance, accuracy, you could put guardrails. You can identify what the company policy is and adhere to that. And then lastly, of course, we served AI in the flow of work without the user having to prompt it or know when do I need to use SAP Joule? When do I need to use Gemini for this? WalkMe understood who the user was, what they're trying to get done, and then served the right assistance in the flow of work without having to context switch or jump in and out or even prompt it. So we have a bunch of case studies on our website for, like I said, from over a decade of doing this. And some of the outcomes, I'm not going to go over them now, but feel free to log into our website, filter by industry, and see something that you can relate to. And then I think this customer said it best. That's why I put it here. We rebuilt how we manage change. So it's thinking about change not as a single switch from AppTap. It's a continuous capability to deal with all of these changes that we talked about, right? Because there is going to be the next wave of innovation, the next wave of disruption. So you need to be prepared for that. And that's why we believe that WalkMe is a required platform for effectively navigating the technology change. But don't take my word for this. As I said, there's a new market guide by Gartner, and we're at a Gartner conference. And Gartner's predicting that by 2028, 40% of organizations will use Gen AI supplied in their digital adoption platforms like Joe just showed you now. And if you would like, you can download the full market guide complimentary from WalkMe via this QR code. And if you would like to learn more, feel free. Our booth is right over here, booth 1015. I'll be there, Joe will be there, and we would love to answer any question that you have. Thank you for listening to us today.